Oh, 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 oh.
You know what's so crazy?
So, remember I told you about this Be Real? This app?
Yeah.
Where you post every day and it's like something like this. Like it shows you like what's in front of you and like what.
Yeah.
I go to Discovery.
Who is that?
Someone from Mauritania.
Oh no. They're trying to get sexy.
This is not Omegle.
Sexy time.
Oh, God.
Oh, oh.
Hello. You get nice and close.
Yeah, let's just get close
Up close and personal.
and expand the voice. Oh. Yeah.
Showtime.
Action. Hi.
How's it going?
Welcome to another episode of
Modern Day Hippies. It is a lovely Monday night. It is so nice outside.
It's like 80 degrees today, guys.
We are blessed. We are blessed, and it is a great day. Summer is coming, and we are in the midst of May. I'm very excited. We have a lot of fun things coming up. Danita's going to Miami.
Woo! I'm so excited. It's a girls' trip, and we got an Airbnb. I'm really excited, but I'm super stressed out because so much is going on with work that I can't even prepare to even think about what I'm gonna do there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you have a wedding.
Yes, wedding season. I haven't been to a wedding in a really long time, and I'm super excited. Both of my friends are getting married, and I don't know, just ready to celebrate some love. We just had a few friends that graduated school as well, so it's just been a lot of celebrations and just ready for all the fun stuff that's coming up.
Summertime shy.
Summertime shy.
So exciting.
All right. Well,
we kind of wanted to get into stuff today.
some stuff. And I wasn't really sure on how we should bring this topic up because I didn't want to get super deep, but kind of deep. And I guess it's kind of about just being a good person and the greater good in life and what that means. And so as we were trying to figure out what's some good ways of bringing this whole topic together, I was sitting across from my cousin and I'm like, hey, what do you think it means to be a good person? And she's just like, what? Why are you asking this? And her response was basically just being caring and being sympathetic towards others. And I'm like, that's perfect. Thank you. We're good.
Easy response.
Thank you. We love it. And kind of going off of that, it's just to me, what is most important in life? And for me, it's to find happiness, be happy, but show love, spread love, and just the greater good of life.
Yeah. I think giving out love and voluntarily helping other people in life leads to your own satisfaction.
Yeah.
But it's not with any intent. And I think that is so important in life for me, is you said, love and the greater good, and happiness. Of course, happiness. But it's also seeing those around me succeed just as much as I want to succeed, doing what I can for them so that we're all on the same playing field, right?
Yes.
And I feel some people lose that sense of touch of doing good for those around them and their community.
And it's okay to just always get a reminder. One thing that I love is every time I see Griz, he usually ends with his set kind of having this whole speech, and it's just beautiful, and I'm usually crying, but he's just his phrase is show love, spread love. And it's so important, and it's just like so important for you just to keep on reminding people, doing the little things. And he's like, just pick up a piece of trash before you leave at the end of the night. Like, just the little things go such a long way. And in this time, I think a lot of people forget that. And it's just a nice reminder.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of stems from personality.
Oh, for sure.
And in the midst of us growing up, we are creating our personality, and we can always change that. And to start out, you have to go back to the basic psychology elements. Here we go. We're going back to Dr. Sigmund Freud, and when we were looking this up, I totally forgot that Freud...
We did mention him
yes,
prior.
we did, for dreams, and I totally forgot that Freud was the one who made the human personality concepts of the id, the ego, and the superego. And these three components create certain behaviors in the human personality. And so it starts out with the id, and the id it stems from the unconscious, and it's the instinctive and primitive behavior. So it's present like right from birth, and that basically gives you like, make sure that all of your needs, wants, and desires are met. Like, make sure you're being fed and changed and whatnot, like as a child. And if these things are not being met, that can create anxiety and tension at such a young age of not having those things met. Yeah. So going from that, then your ego starts to develop, and it stems from the id, and this is in both of the unconscious, conscious, and the preconscious mind. And so your ego, you're basically dealing with reality and what that person is aware of when they think about themselves and how they try to project that to others. And so you're dealing with your ego when you're like dealing with reality. And you see that a lot now when people are just trying to like deal with that. And sometimes if the ego is not, I guess, like treated in a good way, you can see forms of different patterns, personality patterns that aren't the best, like narcissism, different personality disorders that can stem from this stuff as you are growing up. The ego seeks pleasure, and it tries to avoid pain. So there's not really a concept of right and wrong. They just do what they think is best for themselves and try to gain that satisfaction just for themselves. Yeah. And so the last component of Freud's human personality is the superego, and that kind of incorporates the values and morals learned from your parents and others as you grow up. And so there's two parts of it. The conscious, which is like the inner voice of, I did something wrong. And the second part of it is the ideal self, which is rules and your standards for behaviors. The three components of this human personality can kind of create how we act today.
Well, I was thinking when you were reading that, I totally forgot, but there was a whole nother, the hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
Maslow's.
Yeah.
Maslow's. And I just thought about it because the top of his pyramid is like kind of the same thing as,
right.
Freud's. And it's like when you're at the top, that's like the peak. Like you can't get any better than that. I mean, like you're reaching self-fulfillment, and in order to do that, obviously you start at the bottom of the pyramid, right? And like the bottom of the pyramid, you just need those basic psychological needs. Mm-hmm. And if those aren't being met, just like the same thing situation, then what are you going to do to get those needs done? Like you're going to try to figure out anything you can do to self-fulfill yourself. Yeah. Self-fulfill yourself. But in order to climb that pyramid, which I actually did a whole presentation on this.
Okay, yes, sis.
In order to climb that pyramid, you literally do have to kind of, have the roof over your head, meet those basic needs, whatever, but then you start to service others around you without the intent, but just because what you do for those around you kind of just comes back around.
Yes.
And that's like the circle of life.
Yeah. And kind of stemming off of that, it's not really part of like your personality, but it's kind of like around like your soul is And kind of like what I feel like we're all trying to reach is like the greater good, like your higher self. And the higher self is basically like realizing that all of life is transient and that you are basically like all connected. Like we're all connected to everything. Everything is energy.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're putting out there, you are going to receive.
Yeah.
And that there's a larger picture in Force at Life. Like it's not all about like the little things. It's not about your ego. It's literally just about
making the community work around you, but not even just the community. It's a whole world, but obviously it's like every little thing we do is supposed to benefit our community, our world, to make it keep going around and around. Because I mean, planting a tree, like we take so many trees down, but we need to keep planting more to keep, you know, that energy going. But that kind of is just like karma. The idea of karma is literally the sum of persons' actions in this and previous states of existence viewed as deciding their fate in future existences. So the informal would be like destiny or fate. So any effect is from the cause and effect. Because you did one thing, the outcome is this. If you chose a different path, the outcome would have probably been different.
Who out there believes in karma?
I do. I do. So karma was like originally a Buddhism/Hinduism thing, but I feel like it's made its way around the world in so many different aspects, including like just any other spiritual aspect, people who don't believe in anything religious-wise, and even in the Bible, Christianity, Catholicism, whatever. Catholicism.
Catholicism. We'll get you.
Anyway, so we kind of Googled. We Googled this. Karma. How many people believe in karma? Well, 31% of people very strongly believe in karma. 34% somewhat, 18% not very, 10% not at all, and 6 really don't fucking know.
Don't really fucking know. I truly believe in karma. I feel like that there's been some experiences where
it's like instantaneous.
And you're just like, holy shit. And it's like super ironic too. I believe karma's out there. And there's good karma and there's bad karma. In a way, I just feel like it's just like the polarity of two different things.
Yeah.
Good versus evil, light versus dark, just the differences, but how they contrast each other, but they're also very connected. Very. That's what I think.
Ditto.
Also, to stem off, there's this concept that my dad actually talked with me about, and I thought it was like really interesting, and this is what kind of stemmed this episode off of, is the concept of service to self versus service to others. And this is also a spiritual polarity of the universe. It could be kind of like a positive versus negative effect, and to be a little bit more dramatic, it could be like good versus evil, but we don't want to get that dramatic.
We don't need any of that.
We don't need any of that. We don't need any of that. Service to self doesn't necessarily mean that there's a malintent, that there's a bad intention, that you're just like, fuck everybody else, it's all about me. Service to others doesn't also mean that we have to sacrifice ourselves to a greater extent where we're feeling tired of always giving to other people and not thinking about ourselves. So we have to find that kind of like middle ground, right? And so I found this website that actually, I just found it before when I was researching some stuff, but it seems really interesting. It's called the Trinfinity Academy, and they have different courses of just like spiritual courses, like enlightenment, and they had the service to self versus others, and quote, "We have to understand that to be of service to others, we need to be in touch with our own inspiration and feel free enough to act on it. We also need to know that everyone has their own higher self," end quote. So basically, when you're doing a service to others, you're not thinking about it like, I'm gonna do something because of this and like think of the outcome of it. It should just come instinctual.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for a service to self, it's mostly like a gain for the self at the expense of other selves. So that's kind of
where you're doing something in the moment that looks good on your behalf, but also is probably helping someone, but then can hurt them in the end.
or yeah, and we're in the end like benefiting yourself.
Yeah.
You're doing this because like, oh, I think like, I don't know.
Oh, I have a good one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, one of my New Year's resolution was to volunteer more.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I'm volunteering just whenever, something in the back of my head, of course, just sits there like, oh, the more that I'm out with people, the more business I can get for real estate, right?
Okay.
So obviously there's kind of some service to self while I'm out there volunteering. So, I mean, even though it's not hurting anybody and it can, but I'm in the back of my head subconsciously thinking, oh, this could benefit me. So it's a service to self.
It is a service to self, but I also feel like you're trying to like go for your passion, and for your passion you have to think about yourself in that aspect, but you're also trying to help others find houses. You're campaigning yourself, right?
Companioning?
What the fuck are we saying?
I don't know today.
Okay,
what?
You are trying to put yourself out there, but to benefit your business, but also to help other people find their service as well.
Yeah. And
in that way. I feel like there's always such a gray area. Like when I was looking at this stuff too, it's kind of like it's a polarity. Like there's two different sides to it, but there's also like a middle ground. And
yeah.
I think it's important to kind of look at it in all aspects of it too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And so then there's the service to others aspect of it, and that is the caring about others on a greater level, more of like the humanity level, having that compassion and love and having that empathy for other people. And again, we are all connected. If we put something out there, we put that energy out there for the greater good for somebody else, then hopefully it'll come back to you.
Yeah.
And having that mindset.
So what are some things that can be a service to others that would be fulfilling for people and kind of maybe bring karma around?
Yeah. So the first thing that I thought of, which I feel like is a very common one, is when you're in like a drive-thru, like Starbucks, or like it's happened to me at McDonald's before, but definitely at Starbucks, where you get to the
checkout.
To the checkout, cha-ching. And they're like, oh, the person already paid in front of you. Oh, thanks, and then it would be nice for you to pay somebody else in the back and then watch them have like $50 worth of Starbucks.
I know.
But hey, it's just like a nice little surprise.
Yeah.
And, hopefully that will like make you smile, and hopefully like you pass that on to make someone else smile, and just like the little things. And it doesn't have to be something so big or extravagant. It could be just something as little as, I don't know, opening a door for somebody.
Right,
just,
holding
like,
the door
things.
for someone. I think another one could be like, just like I said, planting a tree, because that's giving back to your community, or doing a fundraiser, running a 5K.
Yeah.
If you're into that. But
Yeah.
and those kind of things help. And just like volunteering. Go volunteer at a old person's home. I don't know, they really need people. Like, they need help. People that are helpless and can't do things for themselves, children, elderly, those are the kind of service to others that kind of, they're maybe a little bit bigger than what we said, but I think they make the biggest difference because those are the ones who need us the most.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And like, I was just kind of thinking about it. Like, I feel like I'm a very giving person. I do feel like that's one of my main love languages, is like to give. And whether it's like, I don't know about like more like gift giving, but more of like service, I guess. Like, I love cooking for other people. I love like, just doing the little things that can hopefully like make any of like my friends' family like lives a little bit easier one day, whether it's just like getting groceries for you, or like, every time I come here before, I'm like, hey, do you need anything from the store? Like, I went grocery shopping for you the other day. Like,
right.
Just the little things. I know when you work from home and like you barely ever leave, and I'm sure now you're gonna be like, I want to get the fuck out of here now, it's nice out. But like, one less step for you to be like, oh, I have to go to the fucking grocery store and get some olive oil,
I know. You definitely go out of your way to help those around you, and that's what's so great. And I think it's a good way to, like, even though you do those things, you have no bad intent, like, or you, like, do it just to literally help people. And I think when people see that you're doing that, they want to do it back, like, immediately.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like what comes around goes around.
You just took that out of my tongue. But like, I was gonna say that right after whatever you were gonna say. It just, we're so in sync. But I have a story, and I was just trying to think of some examples that we could just kind of like throw out there with this episode and service to others. I was just thinking of this hilarious but also like very scary story that happened to me. I think it was last summer, and it was a late night after work. I usually get out of work at like around like 10:30, 11, and it was probably like a Friday night, and I'm driving home from work, and I'm going down I'm going down Webster, and it's at this part of the street. It's like not that many people out. It was literally like deserted, and I'm going down, I'm like blasting music, and all of a sudden, like a ways down, I see somebody in the middle of the street. And I'm like, oh God, like, I'm scared. So I, like, of course, slow down because somebody's in the fucking street.
Yeah.
And it's, like, this girl, and she's, like, in the middle of the street, and I, like, kind of, like, slow down, and I, like, look at her, and I'm like, are you okay? And, like, I kind of, like, you know, stop, and she comes around to my back door and tries to open it as if I was a fucking Uber.
Oh, hell no.
I was very confused, and...
Was her thumb up?
No. Her phone was out. So I stop, and this bitch is trying to get in my back seat, and I'm like, do you need help or something? And she's like, are you not my Uber? I was like, no. And I'm like, are you okay? Like, do you need help? And, like, in that moment, like, when something like this happens to you, especially, like, when you're in the city, like, I have to be alert at all times. I had, like, 200 things in my head, like, going back and forth, like, what the fuck is going on? Am I being punked? Like, I was thinking, am I going to be part of, like, some sex trafficking, human trafficking type of incident? I had no idea. And she was just, like, clearly she was drunk, too. It was like a Friday night, and she was just like, I need to get home. And then she starts, like, you know, just like freaking out, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry, like, do you want me to call somebody for you? Like, I don't know, like, there was just something that was off. And she was like, please, like, can you just drive me home? And I was just like, I gotta go home. Like, I need to go home. Like, I can't do this. I'm not gonna let a stranger in my car. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why am I here in this situation right now? And I was like, I can call an Uber for you. And, like, I don't understand. Maybe she didn't call an Uber. Maybe she did or something. I don't know. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. I can't take you. And then it came to my mind. I was like, what if I leave and somebody fucking takes her? Like, what if someone...
Yeah,
like,
someone that you know has bad intent takes her.
Takes her. And I'm like, fuck, like, all right, get in the fucking car. She gets in my car, and she's like, thank you so much. Like, it's only a 10-minute drive. Like, she was, I think, going to, like, Old Town, so it was literally, like, less than a 10-minute drive. But, like, as I'm driving, I'm, like, looking at her, and I'm, like, shaking. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, this is just so weird, you know? And I'm, like, trying to ask her questions, like, is everything okay? Like, what happened? Like, you're by yourself. Mm-hmm. No girl should be by herself on the side of the street like that.
Right.
And she was like, my boyfriend and I got in a fight, and, like, I can't remember the whole story, but I kept on trying to ask her questions, and it wasn't really adding up either. Like, it sounded as if maybe she left her boyfriend at the time because they got in a fight and, like, was walking from, like, the bar, but, like, there wasn't really a close bar around, so it was just, like, still nothing was really making sense. And then she was just like, thank you so much, you're seriously the nicest person ever, like, thank you. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, thank you, like, yeah, I appreciate it. But it was just so crazy. And then I think I was going through some stuff at one point, so then I was venting to her on that 10-minute drive about my relationship, and she was just like, oh girl, like, you know, just talking about stuff. We were, like, hitting it off, and then she's showing me pictures of her dog on her screen. I'm like, okay, like, she's clearly not a murderer. We're fine. And I dropped her off, and all was well. She went home safe, but I think my lesson to that is, like, do not pick up strangers. Don't do that. I'm glad it turned out well for me. And
Yeah.
it was a service to other that I will always probably remember. And my mom, I think when I told my mom, she was like pissed as fuck. She was like about to kill me. She's like, I'm glad everything went safe, but do not do that. Like, do not pick up strangers on the side of the road.
Crazy.
It just happened.
Yeah.
And the end.
Oh my gosh.
So crazy.
That is so scary because, yeah, you never really know. Plus, in a big city like Chicago, it's like people are crazy. People are
Yeah.
just wild. So, but it was good that you did it because I feel
course.
like you never know what would have happened to her.
No, of course.
I mean, when I first moved to Madrid, I was out with friends and then I was trying to catch a bus. I didn't know which bus to catch. The bus came. The guy told me, no, this is not your bus. It went and there was no more buses. So I had no idea how I was getting home, no idea where I was. And the person at the bus stop was like, oh, maybe this bus driver will still take you, like where he was going. And I was like, okay, we can ask. And so he was nice enough to ask the bus driver for me. And he's like, sorry, no, like, missed. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I was about to start putting my thumb out and asking people for a ride home. And it was already like 2 a.m. So it was just not a good situation. But if someone like you came along, like, I would have been
Honk, honk.
so freaking happy. Thank God I had a good host mom that she woke up and came and everything. But it's scary. It can be scary.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not as lucky as both of our stories. And especially, like you said, living in Chicago, like in such a big city, there's a lot of violence and there's a lot of bad things happening. And so it's very important to always just be aware and be aware of your surroundings. And like, that's literally it. And you just never know like what can actually happen because there are people that are doing, that have malintent out there. And it is sad and scary, but the best thing that we can do is show our love and our positivity and like do what we can as human beings to hopefully subside from that.
Yeah. So I kind of Googled the statistics and it said that 63 million Americans, which is only 25% of the adult population in America, volunteer their time to help others around the world. Around, well, the United States. But if we could increase that number, like, how much better would this world be?
Just a wee bit better.
Just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit. And going back to my favorite book, Danita said it was my Bible, which I feel like it really is because this has helped me out so much. It's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff. Simple Ways to Keep Little Things from Taking Over Your Life by Richard Carlson. We did a few passages in previous episodes, and there's a few passages that I remembered when we were talking about this episode. I was like, it's just on point. It's all connected. It's all fucking connected. So one of the passages says, do something nice for someone else and don't tell anyone about it. While many of us frequently do nice things for others, we are almost certain to mention our acts of kindness to someone else, secretly seeking their approval. And if you think about it, like, seeking somebody else's approval is basically just trying to feed your ego, just trying to feed that self-pleasure of, I did something nice for somebody, I want to be praised for it. And I think we have to kind of stem away from that. So maybe next time you are doing something nice for somebody, just keep it to yourself and make yourself feel good.
Yeah, you don't have to, like, go bragging about it to everybody and their fucking moms.
Yeah. I mean, and it's okay, like the story that I have of picking up a stranger is probably it's a crazy story, and I love telling it because it's just like, I feel crazy for it even happening.
Yeah.
But, even if it's just the little things, like, it doesn't have to be overshared. Sometimes it's best to just, like, keep it within. Another one is, practice random acts of kindness.
That's kind of like the paying it forward type of what we talked about earlier.
It says, quote, practicing random kindness is an effective way to get in touch with the joy of giving without expecting anything in return. It's best practiced without letting anyone know what you're doing. Wow, isn't that what we just read? That's so funny. And it just can be like a spontaneous random gift, something given without exception of or demand with anything in return. And there's 2 more passages. I won't read everything, but this passage says, make service an integral part of your life. To become a kinder, more loving individual requires action. Yet, ironically, there's nothing specific you have to do, no prescription to follow. Rather, most genuine acts of kindness and generosity seem natural. They stem from a type of thinking where service and giving have been integrated into the person's thought process. And the next passage says, do a favor and don't ask for it or expect one in return. And so I think like all of those passages, they're all literally connected with one another, and to just be kind and show kindness and show love, and hopefully you'll get it back.
Yeah. I mean, I think in general, if you do that, you show kindness, do things for the greater good, in general, it'll come back to you and you'll just feel happy to do it.
Yeah.
And you'll feel like more of a real person, a whole person.
I agree. I stand.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. Okay, so I guess like stemming off of like personality and people having different personalities that could either stem from the ego, and if it is as extreme, like personality disorders, or people who are just stuck in that huge ego phase where they can't seem to get past that. People make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody makes mistakes, that we're human, but I think coming from that and being a better person is to own up to your mistakes and just do better. I think that was just kind of a part of it, is just like, we're all human.
Yeah. You made a mistake with a friend, and in order to like make it up for them, you do something spontaneous, even though they're probably like so over that.
Yeah.
You do it and it'll make you feel better, but in the end it'll really bring enjoyment to them.
Kind of righting your wrongs. And like I said, like everybody's human. We're not going to be perfect and, you know, I don't know, just showing and being positive all the time, because that's not ideal. Like, that's not real.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have like those hard days, and I think when like seeing the other side of it is that we're all going through shit and we're still trying to figure out who we are as people, and with that comes making mistakes, but you have to be like honest with yourself and grow from that and try to be a better person. And what are some things that we can do to be better people? Show love, spread love,
Radiate positivity.
be kind, be yourself.
Yeah. Know when you're doing what's right and what's wrong.
Morals, values. Wow.
Good talk.
This is like a modern day hippies talk, like a TED Talk version.
I feel like we have a few of these.
Yeah.
Not
We're
mad
preaching
about
it. We're preaching it.
Not mad about it at all.
But it's just a nice reminder.
Yeah. What have you done lately? Here's the real talk.
Uh-oh. What have I done recently?
Or maybe you shouldn't tell us.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't. It's a secret. Shh. But other than that, are we ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
It's nice to take some breaks. We've been working very hard, and we've been having a lot of episodes back to back, and we are going to take a little break. And
Yeah, May's a very busy month for us, I feel like.
every month is fucking busy, but we're just going to take a little break and recoup and get some more episodes going for you guys, and we're just going to work it.
Work it, honey.
Work it.
So,
till next time,
Till next time.
do something kind to a stranger, a random stranger.
Give good karma. Or get good karma.
We hope you get good karma.
That's what we want. That's what we want for you. And
Till next time,
bye-bye.
modern day hippies.
Bye.
Hey guys! Thank you so much for listening to Modern Day Hippies. To help support our podcast, leave a 5-star rating. It doesn't seem like much, but it means the most to us. Follow us on Instagram and visit our website at mdhpodcast.com. Leave any comments, suggestions, and questions in our Connect box. We love you, Modern Day Hippies!